What's going on, everybody? It's Magic Pat here with Real Beast, and technically this is my second video tonight. I decided to talk to y'all a little bit about some of the equipment that we use on our trips. A few minutes ago I did a video talking about Alan being able to go fishing again. He's been cleared from surgery to be able to start using his arm the way he should. He's got 100% motion. So tomorrow after work we'll be fishing. And one of the reels that has pretty much become a staple in Real Beast videos is this Penn Slammer 3. This is actually the 10,500. If you've watched any of our videos, then you know that we use this reel pretty much for everything. I use it in saltwater for shark fishing, freshwater for giant catfish, big alligator gar. Sadly, I don't have any footage of that, but this reel is absolutely amazing for what we use it for. It's got close to 60 pounds of drag. I've never used it that tight. I have gone 35, 40 pounds with it on a tiger shark, which I also don't have footage of that. That was kind of one of those quick, happened really fast, didn't have anything recording. Got the shark pretty close, had it almost landed, dove down, got underneath the pier, and cut me off. That's just part of fishing. Having said that, this reel absolutely just whooped it. We're talking a 5-6 foot tiger shark, just absolutely dragged it up to the pier. I usually run 65 pound braid on it. This is the Super Slick in Power Pro, just so I can get a little bit further casting distance, which it does make a difference. I've seen a good 20 yards more to my cast because of using this slick braid. This thing is a workhorse. You know, you can see it's got a really huge handle. It's really smooth. It's really quiet. The drag is actually, if you can hear that, it's really loud. So even at night when it's pitch black and this reel is black, the rod is black, a lot of times we don't even see we have a bite. We hear it. And I usually, in a video I said once before, but we usually keep it at about 25 pounds of drag even when we're catfishing, just because all the rocks and stuff, they can get underneath them pretty quick, so we try to stop them. AMAC's biggest catfish, that 55 pound blue cat, took a little bit of line off of it initially, but it did slow him down really quick. It stopped him. The rest of the time was just a really dogged, leaning on the rod kind of fight, just body weight, not really trying to take line. I've used it, like I said, shark fishing. Does really good saltwater, freshwater, is completely sealed. It can't get water inside of it. Even supposedly, I haven't tried this, but supposedly even turning it underwater won't get water in the gears. It's absolutely easy to clean. This massive cap right here just pops on and off whenever you loosen up the drag, just like any other spinning reel. But whenever you, I actually might even just open it up real quick for you. But inside, the drag washers and everything are completely sealed. I mean, it's just about impossible to get anything inside this bad boy. Like I said, easy to clean. I just use a water hose to just sprinkle it off a little bit, make sure that there's no salt anywhere on it, and it's good to go. I only have to take it apart pretty much once a year to really clean it, just to make sure, and it's just kind of an old fisherman in me, but just to make sure there isn't any kind of sand or dirt, salt. Not that there would be, but I always like to be careful, just because it can, if you get anything inside of a reel, the salt and sand eats it up from the inside. This thing is tough. It's been bounced around, slammed. I actually almost lost this reel in a recent fishing trip, saltwater fishing. A shark actually flipped my whole cart. I had it in the rod holder on the cart and didn't realize I had my drag set really, really tight, about 35 pounds. Flipped the whole pier cart, even with a tackle bag full of lead weights, bait, coolers with drinks and ice. Flipped the whole thing. Actually got to it, but it was actually underwater. It was slid through the sand into the water, got to it, and lost the shark. He just spit the hook, thankfully, but even after all that, took the reel apart, no sand, no water, no dirt inside of it. So, I mean, it is tough. You can see there's like a few little scratches in the paint. It's a really tough paint job. I mean, I take this, I have to put it in the back of my truck. It gets bounced around driving to and from places to fish. I mean, it looks like it's hardly been used except for a little bit of just like dust, and I guess that's, I don't know, maybe some catfish goo spot I might have missed. I have it actually paired with a really stout rod. This is the Carnage Surf Rod, and this is actually the 12-foot, the heavy 4 to 8 ounce. This is a really beast of a rod. This thing says it's rated for 6,000 to 8,000 size reels, but the 10,500 is not too heavy for it. It handles it like a dream. You know, casts well. I've casted up to 16 ounce weights. I know it says up to 8 ounce, but I've tossed like 16 ounce weights, especially up there in the river when the river's going really heavy. No problem whatsoever. Big catfish on it, big sharks, no problem whatsoever. You know, 12 foot, but it comes in 2 pieces, which if you think a 2-piece rod is actually weak, you'd be wrong. This thing is an absolute monster. I have tested the drag of this reel, and I know for a fact it has handled that reel up to almost 40 pounds of drag. I didn't realize I had it that tight until later. Really good guides on it. I don't know if you can actually see this or not, but see if I can get a better angle on it. But it has almost like these inverted guides, and that's to help keep you from getting wind knots and getting hung up when you're casting. My old surf rods had a problem when you would cast. The braid would actually loop around, and I've had it actually pull rod eyes off. So this actually helps a lot whenever you're casting. In a couple of weeks, I'm actually going to go down to Florida with my family, and we're actually going to put this back out, surf fishing for sharks and giant redfish. Which actually reminds me, I've caught a big redfish on this, and I've taken it red snapper fishing on a jigging rod. I mean, absolutely stopped the fish. They never even took one click of drag off of it. I pretty much dragged a 40-inch redfish straight to the top and never even really got a fight out of him. That's probably one drawback, but that's just the name of the game. This reel is so big and so heavy, and that rod is so heavy duty. Small fish, even though that's a big redfish, small fish just get dragged right to you with this thing. There's no fight whatsoever. This is for trophy-sized fish. You know, 50, 60, 70 pounds. You know, I wouldn't be afraid to try this on 200-pound sharks, as long as I've got plenty of line, which it holds exactly 750 yards of 65-pound braid. I have 2 of these. I have actually the Spin Fisher 10,500 and this Slammer, and both of them split a 1,500-yard spool of braid, exactly split in half. So once again, it's a big reel. You would absolutely love it, but this is also higher end equipment. That is the one drawback. That's actually a drawback. This is expensive. I think this one cost me about $360 just for the reel. The braid, looking at about another $150, $160. The surf rod was about $250. So this can get expensive really quick, but when you're targeting big, monster-sized fish, you need really good equipment. I would say get the best equipment that you can buy, that you can afford. You know, don't hurt yourself, don't go broke, but if you can afford it, get the best equipment you can get. Whenever you hook a big fish, you'll be glad you have it. So anyway, this is one of my little quick tackle reviews. We'll be doing more of these later on. So I will catch y'all later, and next video you will see us putting this back to work as usual.